Hey everybody, it is L Sid 932 on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. Daggone it. Mr. L Sid been through here. Mr. L Sid has been through here and moving stuff around. Yay, hey Debbie, glad to have you here. Glad you are here. Yeah, y'all see what happens, He was here moving stuff around. He was here trying to, see what else could fit in the background. And I guess he, sometimes don't put things back where they were, and we're gonna forgive that. But y'all, I'm gonna have a treat for y'all. Apparently someone on Instagram um has Mr. Elson in the background of their video. And I'm gonna post it as I'm not going to tell you who he is. Y'all going to meet him when he gets here. But I will just say he is in the background of somebody's Instagram video, and I'll post that as a short, maybe later, or if not tomorrow. But you'll get to guess who he is in the background. So thank y'all for so much for being here. We're here for unsolicited advice. Remember, we have exciting things this week. Wednesday, I'm having my first interview, and that's with Cam from Ready to Love Philadelphia. I hope y'all, have caught up on Ready to Love. It is not done. It has a mid-season finale um, that happened, and they're ramping back up this summer. So I'm hoping that this time I have given you is for you to catch up. If you have not watched Ready to Love on OWN Network in Philadelphia, that you can certainly do that. I will put a post up so that you can have your questions there. And other exciting things I did, someone asked me, and I'm not a person. I'm not at all. I ask for you to do is do stuff, of course, that's free, to like and subscribe and share this with friends. But my name, LSID932, is also on Cash App now. You will see my logo. Okay. You will see this logo. So you know that's there. But it is, of course, by no means necessary. Hey, Moondust Angel. So glad to have you here. Hi, I hope you all are having a wonderful day. We are having a wonderful day. And yes, Debbie, y'all are cheering Mr. Elson on. He always likes to see that. He watches later on. He usually watches later on. So we gonna see. So y'all, around here with unsolicited advice, we go from mild to spicy. And we certainly will do that. Go from mild to spicy. Sorry, the camera just blinked for a second. So let me get the first one up here, and make sure y'all say hi in the chat. We're nice here. We don't bite. We are very friendly here. So let me pull up the first one so y'all can see, and then I could pull it up so I can definitely read it for you. So the very first one says, I'm starting to feel some resentment towards my boyfriend for not being able to find a job. This is a 25-year-old female talking about her 25-year-old male boyfriend. As the title states, my boyfriend hasn't been able to find a job for almost 2 years. We've been together for almost 4 years now. So half the time, y'all. He's actively searching and has been getting interviews, but never manages to get a job offer. I, on the other hand, have been working for almost 4 years. We don't live together, so I don't necessarily support him financially, except I'm always the one who pays for flights, hotels, when traveling, and he pays me back. I can't help but start feeling resentment growing towards him as I see people around me move into new chapters of their lives, moving, countries, getting married, saving for a house. We've been wanting to move in together or move overseas for the past 2 years, but nothing has happened since he simply cannot afford it. Although I could technically move by myself, I'm not keen on doing long distance. I'm also noticing more and more that I'm starting to compare his appearance to other men. He's gained a significant amount of weight since we started dating, which he wants to lose, but he hasn't really made much progress since he's always behind the computer looking for a job. Honestly, I think both factors, job and weight, are starting to affect how I see him and my attraction to him because our intimate life has definitely taken a hit. Also, doesn't help that his libido has gone down due to stress and anxiety from job hunting. Can anyone help me navigate this situation? Hey, to go to Africa, glad to have you here. So she's asking, she's feeling a little resentment towards the gentleman. They've been together for 4 years, 2 years. He hasn't had a job. They're not living together. She's paying for flights and dipping and dashing, and he reimburses her. Young lady, uh, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. I'm really going to say this. You have to determine, what do you want? What do you want? Do you want him, or do you want an employed man that's, earning money? What do you want? Because what you want will determine what you go forward with. If you want him, then you may have to stop with the flights and the travels until he's able to get up there. Because even though you're paying and even though he's reimbursing you, you're still probably taking money out of his savings, which is kind of defeating the purpose. That's what he has to live on. Now, if you want someone who's gainfully employed, then he's not it for you. But you have to determine what you want. Now, this 2-year limit may be just temporary, and it has been 2 years. It's tough. It's tough. It may be that you may need to make that hard decision to move both of you to another country, if that is it. Move to another country, and maybe that's where he gets his job opportunity. Maybe that's where he can, certainly grow further. Moon Dust Angel says, support him as much as you can, and until him that you're there for him. However, if nothing improves, I would advise maybe looking for somebody who looks and acts the way you want. Why are you going to say that you're not supporting him if you're paying for flights, hotels? Because technically that is supporting him financially, whether you want to see it that way or not. Hey, Mimi, we are in the first one. You're right on time. Glad to have you here, Mimi. She's starting to get resentful that she is supporting her boyfriend. He has not a job for 2 years. They've been together for 4. They do not live together, but they're still flying around. They're still going on vacation. She wants to move, but he's applying for jobs. She's saying earnestly, he's applying for jobs, he's going on interviews, and he's not getting anything. Now, I'm thinking maybe he may be a little depressed, because 2 years is a long time not to have a job, and that could make somebody feel depressed. And in that depression, it could be what's, countering his weight gain. Again, I'm not a psychologist. This is just unsolicited advice here. So I'm going to say maybe that's contributing to his weight gain. He's having a little bit of self-esteem issues, because 2 years is a long time. I'm not sure how I would feel, 2 years without a job. I went about 10 months without working. This was in the market crash, and my job downsized, and I was one of the folks that they downsized. It was a last one in, first set out. So it took about 10 months, but in that 10 months, I had the kids, and I decided I will go volunteer at the school and do the stuff that I couldn't do while I was commuting and going to work. But then again, I had to find my own purpose as to what I'm going to do while I'm still applying, interviewing, looking for jobs, and, just finding my way. Mimi says when she gets tired, she'll cut her losses, deal with it, or move on. Child. It's a difficult one to comment on. If he can't find a job because of the job market and lack of skills for the jobs in the area, he may need to consider getting job training or relocating. That's a great one. I already talked about the relocating, but to go to Africa, yes, maybe job training. Maybe this is a sign he needs to possibly enter into another career, not long term, but at least to be able to make money now. Of all the time struggling to get a job, then I start gaining weight. You shouldn't be surprised if I'm then not in the mood for intimacy. Right. That's the other thing she says. He is really struggling. The intimacy has gone down. He's not in the mood. He really is not in the mood. And if you are the one paying, if you're the one paying for flights and everything, he got to reimburse you. He's also feeling some kind of way, because if he is thinking of himself as a traditional man and he's never been in this position, he could be feeling some kind of way because you're technically supporting him. He probably wants to say, you know what, I don't want to go on that trip. I don't want to go on that trip. Maybe we shouldn't go on that trip. What is the purpose of that trip? Okay. What's the purpose? So maybe he is looking at it that way. Maybe he is, and he's finding himself in a position where I want to be with you, but I can't financially sustain this relationship. We don't know, though. We are just going by what you have said. And if a man earning money and this man with the limitations, you stay 2 years. If a man not earning money and has certain financial limitations is not for you, then you need to make the decision that's best for you, which may be to walk away. But again, you've been there 2 years. Half the relationship, he has not been able to sustain you. He's reimbursed you for whatever you've had to shell out because his cash flow isn't there. But you all need to figure it out. You need to figure it out. Mimi says both need to sit down and talk about the end goal for their relationship. Stop avoiding the hard conversations. And you're right, Mimi. Most of the people that we are talking about, they're not talking. They're talking to us. They're talking to the internet, but not to each other. Shout out to Jesse Wu. The continents are not meeting. They're not sitting in a meeting and talking. What are we doing? Also, you chose to stay. Don't choose to stay and then whine when it's not working out later. You know what? It's giving me in mind, Moondust Angel and everyone in chat, is giving me in mind that this young lady, he may have had a very lucrative job, and that lucrative job has not panned out. He may be downsized, whatever is going on in the market. He is no longer employed there. Now she's probably saying, well, it'll only be for a little while. Only be for a little while, and he'll get back on his feet and have, money long in his pockets again. Maybe. But now you're thinking, it's been 2 years. I figured it'd be 6 months, maybe 3 months. I didn't figure it'd be 2 years, and I'm still here waiting for you to get back to where you were. Is she really being honest? If he isn't working, how can he afford to reimburse her? Now that we don't know. We don't know where his money is coming from. Is it his savings? Is it is he on a trust? Is he asking his parents for money? We don't know how he's reimbursing. Is he asking friends for money? Is he just trying to keep up with the Joneses and finding himself in more debt because he's trying to please her and know he has to reimburse her? He could just let her go on the trip on her own. I mean, he could just let her go on the trip. That would be my thought. Just let her go on the trip. Let her, enjoy her time with her friends, and you just don't spend and you just don't go. Is it a couple's trip? Some things you just cannot do with a certain partner. Like if you're having financial constraints, like, if you're saving for a goal. We had a goal we were saving for, and I wanted to do something, and Miss Delsa was like, yeah, I don't think that's going to set us back a little bit, and we're going to have to sprint a little further. I was my unusual self. I was whining because I really wanted it. It turned out to be a wonderful experience that we did, and we learned a lot, and we learned it was not for us. And he was like, you know what? It wasn't that bad. He came to the realization, because me, I'm a thrifty human being. We will have a ball and an experience and do a lot, but I know how to tailor stuff down. And I spend too much, but I do have my receipts. She already said she doesn't want to do a long distance relationship. Stand on that. Be true to yourself. And maybe he needs to move. He may need to move to get a better job. Maybe he needs to expand his job search location. If he can afford to reimburse her, he has the money to pay for the trips, or is actually paying for his portion of the trips. I think maybe he's paying for his portion, I I don't know. When did she say? I think she said when they get back, he reimburses her. Um, mm, she pays for the flights, hotels, and when traveling, and he pays me back. We don't know when he pays her back. If she just puts it all on her credit card for convenience sake, or what. We don't know when he reimburses her after the trip, so he gets all the receipts and knows what he's paying her for, or she just pays for the flights, hotels, everything, and he reimburses that. We don't know. We don't know exactly what is being said, what is being done financially for his cash flow. Is he robbing Peter to pay Paul, though? We don't know. And would be my main concern, Moondust Angel. Is he, you know, funneling his cash flow? I mean, I think she's concerned. Yes, he doesn't have a job. He is searching for a job. So she's not harping about that. He is doing what he needs to do. He's looking for jobs. He's applying. He's interviewing. He's on his grind, but it just isn't working out. That's a different story as to if he's not trying. So, but the thing is, now we got to worry about, where is this cash flow? Is it savings? Did he save for a rainy day? Because I'm sorry, even though he saved for a rainy day, 2 years worth of savings? Are we 2 years that we can live on? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many people, even in my group of friends, would have 2 years worth of savings without, as Bundas Angels say, robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're hedging. You're probably asking parents. You're probably asking friends. Is he liquidating assets? Is he, selling any stocks or investments he has? And is this the best use of y'all funds if he's having a hard time and may have cash flow issues? That's all I'm asking. Is this the best use of the funds? If, maybe he needs to conduct some mock interviews with her so she can give him some pointers that he may be missing, which may be contributing as to why he isn't getting the jobs after the interview. That is a good suggestion. That is a very good suggestion. You can also, now some companies, you can also contact their HR department. If they do grade your interview, you can contact the HR department and get the anonymous grading system for your interview. If it's one of those companies who would tell you how you kind of grade it on, appearance, personality, answering the questions, knowledge, you can get that as feedback if you contact the person who set you up for the interview. Don't forget to like this live. Thanks, Trey Mac. It only takes a second. Yes, it is free 99 to like the live. Thank you, Trey, for reminding folks. Again, is she really telling the truth? I don't know. We don't know. We just know. We are sharing our opinions, as the ticker says below. We are just expressing this based on the information provided. We don't know if she's telling the truth, but based on the vocabulary, and she's not harping on him not looking for a job. She's not harping on him, being just mooching off of her. I'm thinking he's doing all that he can, and it's situational. I'm I'm tending to believe it based on what she is saying. Now, he ain't, again, we said him not finding a job, not having a job, a rhetorical question. It's actually, even though it's rhetorical, it is a good question. It is a really good question to go to Africa. Even with all of this, it's kind of like, she, she got to understand he is not going to feel himself. He is gaining weight. His confidence is getting low. He probably doesn't feel his best good looking self. So he's not going to initiate or want to indulge in intimacy if he's seeing that he's not, the man he usually is. But he's caught in a rut. It is 2 years, and he certainly can get out of it, but y'all need to talk. As the chat said, y'all need to talk. Y'all need to have this conversation. This is a relationship. If y'all wish for it to be saved, have the conversation. Hey, and don't be upset if y'all decide to break up, young lady, and then he goes away and is way more successful than when you left him. That's just how life happens. Just be happy for him. Be happy that he found his life. He got himself back together. And don't be standoffish if he decides to spin the block. Now, I am not a spin the block person. You leave, you gone, you stay gone, you be gone. If you know the movie, you know that line. That's just me, though. But if he finds himself being successful and decides to come back and say, hey, can we give this another try? I'm hoping you may be open to it. It ain't my ministry, but in this situation, kind of, I could possibly see someone going, back. I'm back, still moving. Are you back to the conversation of them moving locations, or are you still moving, Mimi? Because we remember last week you were packing boxes. So, y'all, that was the first one. That was just a teaser. That was, we are starting off very mild, and as we go along, it gets a little bit spicier. So let's get to the next one. Let's get to the next one. I don't know why the studio always changes the size of stuff. Anyway, pun intended. So it says, my wife, 22-year-old female, faked a transaction to hide her source of income from me, a 26-year-old male. So my wife told me she was receiving financial support from her rich parents. This is how she's able to afford rent, buy food, clothes, and not work, etc. Her whole lifestyle is expensive. She spends money like no tomorrow. Recently, we moved into a flat together, and due to her being unemployed, she had to pay 6 months up front, close to £11,000. We know where this is from. She is from Northern Africa. I've never met her parents. I became suspicious, so I asked to see proof that her dad sends her money. The reason I had doubts is because when we first dated, around 4 months in, I found out she was working as an intimacy worker. She never told me herself. I went snooping through her phone and found out. I never confronted her on this. Anyway, I told myself she was only doing this out of financial desperation. This is when she told me her parents stopped sending her money and she was behind on rent. A year later, we moved into this flat and I asked for proof. She sent me screenshots of a transfer from what looked like her dad's name. A couple months later, she gets locked out of her phone. She asked me to log in online banking from my phone. And when I saw the real transaction, I realized the photo she sent me was fake and edited. The money had actually been sent from herself. So for whatever reason, she didn't want me to see it. When I called her out on this, she completely denied it was fake. She also refused to show me proof that her dad sends her money. She deflects the focus when I went through the transactions. When I, just one piece of mind, her reaction is, I don't care. I, think whatever you want to think. What should I do? What if you guys were in my shoes? We just got married. Okay. Her visa has been granted and everything was going so well. What do y'all think he should do? Oh, she's back in the conversation, still moving. Okay, Mimi. So what should he do? He's asking. This one's not too spicy, but just a little bit of spice. So before you married her, you didn't know where the money was coming from. He's 26, she's 22. You didn't know where her money was coming from and you married her. I'm sorry. I don't know where they do that at. Apparently, as he's saying, the UK or somewhere that uses pounds. Oh my word. How are we not talking finances? How are we not seeing what your taxes were the last year? How are we not seeing that? How are you making your money? How I'm not coming by, your school, if you're going to school, or your job, just to verify. This is very difficult and will be very hard to trust somebody who is not honest about where their money is coming from. Maybe they should try some marriage counseling if it might help. They're very young. And the counseling, yes, is true. They should try the counseling. But these are things that they should have talked about before they got married. Where's the money coming from? Where is the money coming from? So now you say, okay, her dad, she's saying she's financed by her dad. Did you ever know the dad's name? Did you ever look the dad up? Because the dad would either have a social media profile, or at least the community, they may know her dad. But her dad is in another country. So that, you know, even asking questions. Well, oh, your dad's sending you money? Well, how do you guys send money from overseas? You can, you can have a moment where you can say, I don't understand. How are you guys sending money from overseas? That's interesting. Wow. Ooh, okay. I couldn't marry someone if I didn't know where the money was coming from, because this would be a major red flag for me. Exactly. Exactly. I got to see your tax returns. In the US, I got to see what last year's tax returns are. Let me not go any further. Trey Mack is hitting his forehead. Okay, that emoji is hitting the forehead. She has a daddy, all right. A sugar daddy. Some of this is your fault, buddy. You knew something was off about her, and yet you continued to date and then marry her. Shake my head. He knows what to do. Now, the fact at the end that he said they got married and her visa came through and her visa was approved, was that transactional, sir? Because now I'm looking at you. You didn't know where her money was coming from. You knew she had money. Because she didn't have a job, y'all had to put 6 months rent up front, which is £11,000, according to you. And she just came up with £11,000. She got no job. Okay. He needs to talk to his therapist about why he's remaining in a relationship with someone who he has serious concerns. Why is he asking someone about this outside of his support network? He brought it to the internet, so here we are giving our unsolicited advice. This is what we do here. We give the advice that you've been asking for. That's what we do in here. But yes, he needs to talk to a therapist. You need to talk to a financial advisor or something, because guess what? You are marrying this person. Their finances is your finances. Their debt is your debt. You got to know what's going on with the money. You got to know. How could you go into a marriage not knowing where the money resides, where the money is coming from? Because guess what? Did you think the money was going to continue to come from there? Because you are now her husband. You are now her support. Why are we looking at her for the $11,000, the 6 months worth of rent? What are we doing? Because she shouldn't need any of that from her dad, because what? We're now cleaving to a wife or a husband. You are the husband. Now you are her sole provider. And you knew she wasn't working anywhere. So, sir, this is partially on you, because technically you would cut off her source of money from the father from home. Okay? And you taking on the responsibility of financially supporting her. It didn't come across as a problem when she whipped out 6 months worth of rent. However, now he wants to know where it's coming from. Yes. Now he wants to know. If she is in a close relationship, why is she paying the rent? They married to go to Africa, not just close, real close. Trey said they sound like a 90-day fiance reject story. Yes, it does. I need to catch up on the new season anyway. They might be on there. They might be. This one says she don't work. She goes to school. So, sir, you are going to be financially responsible for her. So, you should have been knowing what her debts were like. If she was getting money from a real father or real daddy, sugar daddy, or whatever, guess what? You now financially responsible for her. Where's the money coming from? Munda Angel asked, Big Ed, is that you? I used to watch 90-Day Fiance, so I know exactly who you're talking about. It might be, but he talking about pounds. I don't think Big Ed is in the UK, but yeah, it could be. Y'all, what is your unsolicited advice for this young man? You're married to her. Y'all need to go see a financial advisor. Also, you said she was a SEG worker. What division? What department? What exactly? Cam girl? Specialist? Was she hands-on? What kind of worker? Are we happy ending massages? What kind of seg work are we talking about? What kind of intimacy are we talking about? Because, sir, you're leaving a lot out there. Because you didn't say you want a divorce. You just want to know where the money coming from. So are you an imp? And put that last P in the front too. Are you an imp? Because you just want to know where the money's coming from. You never said you're going to be done with her. You want to be gone. Mm-mm-mm. You're my best view. Thank you, Modest Angel. Why is he still with an intimate worker? I don't know. He wants the money. He wants the money. I agree. This should have been discussed before marriage. He knew it was going into the marriage what it was. Seems like he wanted to be more of a wedding than a marriage. The problem is still relevant. Hey, it's kind of like, T-Pain said, I'm in love with a stripper. He has fallen in love with someone probably where it was just transactional. So he fell in love when she's just like, hey, whatever. We got to get an apartment. This is 90 Day Fiance. Let's get it together. A 90 Day Fiance reject, as Trey said. Maybe he's fallen more in love and she's like, hey, I'm just here to collect my documents. Okay, for those of y'all who came from the crime sector with me, the documents. She's just here for the documents. This is transactional. Why are you falling in love? So y'all, what is your unsolicited advice for him? He is married to her. Her visa and everything through marriage is approved, and he just want to know where the money resides. Sir, you didn't know when you entered the marriage. She ain't gonna tell you now, because if she's going to doctor the documents, then guess what? You ain't gonna get none of the truth, and she certainly ain't gonna let you go through her transactions again, even if she locked out the phone. She just gonna stay locked out. So y'all, please list your unsolicited advice down below for him. Make sure you've liked, you've shared, you subscribed, and we will get to the next one. As we go along, we are going from mild to spicy. And when I tell you the last few are really spicy, I don't know, because next week is going to be, I believe next week is Father's Day weekend. I have some really spicy stuff for y'all for Father's Day weekend. Okay. I'm just preparing you right now. We did it Mother's Day. We're going to definitely do it for Father's Day. So I, a 27-year-old female, don't know how to deal with my cheap 28-year-old male boyfriend. Okay, I have a boyfriend who I've been dating for a year. We split the cost of nearly everything. Everything. He won't even buy me a coffee without me asking. He is extremely frugal to the point where he only buys certain vegetables based on the sale price or splitting a cocktail. His nickel and dimes me for everything. I'm increasingly bothered by this. I think the moment that was a tipping point for me was when he wanted us to split the cost of Plan B. When a conundrum broke during SEG. He even brought it up to me again the following morning. He says he wants to stay with me for long term, but I'm not sure. I think we make a good match other than how cheap he is. I make less than him, 75K. He makes about 90K for work and probably 80K from day trading, so maybe 150 to 170 total. He says he wants to be with me long term like marriage, but I don't know anymore. I know he'll provide for kids, well, with his frugalness, but as a girlfriend, I just don't feel like I'm being cared for properly. I sometimes buy him gifts and treat him, but he mostly just treats me on my birthday. He's not sweeping me off my feet. I'm not even materialistic. I dress simply. I don't cover designer or luxury items. But we have an international trip planned for August, and I know I'll have to buy everything on my own. I think the thing that bothers me most is that when I treat him, he accepts it. But whenever he pays for something, he keeps running my tab in his mind. I also want to go to medical school, and he seems to be talking me out of it due to the length of time for training and the cost. He recently told me he'll stick with me if I did nursing, but not if I went to medical school. That is it. That is the end of her post. So she's like, how do I deal with a cheap boyfriend? He wants to split everything, down to splitting a cocktail. Now, when I heard that at first, I was like, are we splitting the drink or the cost of the drink? Am I drinking the whole drink or are you drinking half the drink too? How are we splitting? Is it the cost? I'm just going to say it's the cost of it. You know, he buys vegetable based on the sale price. Okay, he's a little frugal, but he nickels and dimes everything. He won't buy a coffee unless you ask him. But y'all have been dating only for a year. A year. Then when the conundrum broke, he wants to split the cost of the plan B. Mm-mm-mm. 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 Is he frugal because of concerns about job instability? Is he saving for a house or something? She should discuss these things with him. Right. We don't hear why he's frugal. We don't hear if he's saving for a possible ring, but it's only been a year. Maybe he's saving for a house. It's only been a year. Maybe he's saving if he didn't got a job for 2 years like the previous guy. Tremack says, baby girl, you knew he was like this since the beginning. His pockets are tight. And it's probably not going to change. You either are going to deal with him or not. I guess that's choose. This guy has too many conditions that you would need to meet for him to remain with you, which is constricting and unnecessary. Be with someone who supports and uplifts your dreams, not knock them down. Right, Munda Danger. I'm with you there. My thing is, it's okay if he's frugal, but now he wants you to tailor your dreams to stay with him. And I know what it is. Nursing school is quick. And then she can make some real big money, real good money, and be out of nursing school quicker than if she did medical school. Plus the liability insurance and all that for doctors, I understand. But if that is your dream, young lady, and he's telling you cut back on your dream because it's going to take too much time and too expensive, I'm going to need you to cut back on him. That's the part I'm going to cut back on him. Girl, just move on, Mimi says. This is a mission impossible situation. Just accept the mission has failed. It's only been a year. It's only been a year. It's only been a year. You're 27. He's 28. You're going to be in medical school till your mid-30s. Move on. You can't stand the fact that he's frugal. Okay? You want to, technically he is willing to spend a little bit of money. He could have said, hey, he bought the conundrum and the conundrum broke. And that was his responsibility. At least he coming out of pocket to say he will help with the copay for the B plan. Okay? He will come out the pocket for the copay for the B plan. Because you know what? He don't want to come out the pockets for the baby plan. Okay? He don't want to come out the pockets for that. So that's why he won't come out his pocket. It's reward and benefit for him. When y'all go out to eat, if he's splitting the cost of the cocktail, are y'all splitting the cost of the dinner? Or you have to pay for yourself? Is there anything from the first date that he has paid for outright? And you're saying you have to ask him to get you a coffee and he's running a tab in his mind what he's paying for? Let me tell you this, and I don't know if Trey Mack or the other gentleman listening, the man truly likes you, he ain't running a tab. If the man truly likes you, he is not running a tab. He may go, ooh, that's a little costly, but he ain't running a tab. He ain't coming back and saying, let me check the receipts. I spent $100 this week. I'm gonna need you to break me off 50. He ain't running a tab if he really like you. I don't know if any of the men will agree. Tremax said she must think she's part of the IMF. Tom Cruise is her teammate. She just said he is keeping a tab. He is, saying, hey, I spent this. I need you to pay half of this. And yeah, we could keep on dating. But it's been a year. Young lady, it's been a year. You're going into medical school. You don't need these headaches. You're already going to be, frugal as a starving student. I remember those days. You penny pension as a student, either for time or money. So you got medical school on the horizon. You don't need this, but you have to decide. You already don't like it. You already don't like that he keeping a tab. You have to ask him if you need something, if you got to come out of pocket. I want to ask a question though. If the ingredients at the house, would he cook for you? Now these are some simple things. If the ingredients are at the house, would he cook for you? Because that ain't gonna cost him anything. It's just gonna cost him time. Or is he gonna say the time he is taking up cooking for you at the house is time away from the computer day trading to earn money? If all the ingredients are there, would he give of himself? Is what I'm asking. And only you can answer that, within the boundaries of your relationship. He may feel more powerful and more in control of her if he earns more money or has control over how it is spent. That is another thing you have to concern yourself about. If y'all decide to get married, if y'all decide to go through this and decide to have a household together, how is he running this household? How's he running it? How's he running this household? Because guess what? If he's frugal and you can only buy stuff that's on sale, which, I have to say, full disclosure, he's a man after my own heart. Everything ain't got to be on sale, but I daggone sure checking the sale first. But how's he gonna run that household? And is he coming from a childhood where there wasn't much, and so he is trying to hoard things? He's become like a dragon. He is keeping his treasury full so that if anything happens, he does have money. If, like that young man before who had 2 years without work, is he able to afford to sustain? But it's only been a year. Trey Mack says, every man runs a tab, but if we like you, we just don't say anything about it unless the money argument pops up. Okay. Every man runs a tab, but if we like you, we just don't say anything about it. Okay. That's the money argument. What is the money argument? We married though. Mr. Elston and I don't run tabs. We don't run tabs. Now, if I decide to pay for something and he's like, how much that run? I'm gonna give it back to you. I don't ask, but then I don't ask. But then I don't have to ask. What's yours is half mine, and what's mine is mine. Just kidding. we don't have that. We don't have that. If the car needs a battery, either he'll come back, got it, or if I saw the other day, a headlight was out. I went to the shop and I got two bulbs. He's like, what did you do? I said, I went and got bulbs because I don't want you driving at night and your headlights are out. He's like, I was going to go to the store. Well, now you don't have to. Those are the kind of back and forth. He's like, honey, it could have waited. It could have waited. I'm like, no, it can't wait because I know you're going to hang out. You're going to basketball court. You're going to come back after dark. No, it ain't going to wait. We got deer running around here. You need bulbs. There's some cultures where people are raised to be very frugal. Yes, there are. So we don't know his culture. Maybe his culture is telling him it is to be, have to be frugal. Now, my culture isn't technically frugal, but, my family has been frugal, but I do take frugal, up a notch. Like her, I'm not luxury. I'm not label oriented. I can tell you a label I have. I can tell you. Now, my mother, yes. But labels on clothes, I refrain. I'm just frugal like that. But that's just me. I'm a saver. I'll spend on experiences, but I'm a saver. And I'll spend on, the kids eating you out of house and home. I'll spend. But yeah, I agree with that. Y'all, what is your unsolicited advice? Okay, this young lady says he is too cheap. He is running a tab. He only gonna come out a half voluntarily for the B plan. I think that tells you everything you need to know right there, young lady. You don't have to pay for half of everything. And he only concerned with, unplanned, preggers. That's all he concerned about. So it's only been a year. You have medical school coming out. Focus on school, not focus on the frugal man. So y'all, please put your unsolicited advice down below for him and let him know, or let her know she she off to medical school. Let that girl go. I'm somewhat frugal. I hate wasting money, but this guy beats beyond being frugal. I think she had to pay half on the first date. I don't know why she's staying with him, but only she can answer that. So y'all, please, as I said, make sure you like, you share, and you have subscribed to the channel. And let's go on to number 4. Let's see, it's getting spicier and spicier, y'all. It is getting spicier and spicier. I don't know why this always keep the format. Okay. How do I tell my boyfriend? These both are 21-year-olds. A 21-year-old female is asking, how does she tell her 21-year-old boyfriend that she wants a vibrator? Okay. I'm in a long distance relationship with my boyfriend, and we have, when we have intimacy, I don't finish very often. Maybe 5 out of the 10 times. He's the only person I've been intimate with, but I think it's a mental problem for me rather than anything that he's doing or not doing, since he puts in a lot of effort. I'm interested in getting a vibrator because it's been a long time since I've finished. With the combination of being long distance and not finishing much in general, but he's pretty insecure about the fact that I don't finish very much. So I'm not sure how to bring it up without hurting his feelings. She goes on to say, in context, hey, we are in a long distance relationship. So I don't want to feel like I'm hiding anything by using it and he doesn't know. He's usually understanding in general. I feel like everyone may assume the worst of him. I don't think he'll say no, but he may be a bit insecure. What advice do you have? To go to Africa said, just tell him. Just tell him. Just tell him. Now, do we tell him before or after we purchase it? I'm asking. Do we tell him before or after we purchase it? Okay. Okay. I'm curious for a friend. My friends are in the chat. My friends are in the comment box below. Do we tell him? She can buy one and introduce it in their next intimacy session. She could. I need to know how insecure is insecure. Because if we do like to go to Africa, says, buy it, introduce it to him in the next session, to Bob, battery operated boyfriend. That's what a Bob is. He's been putting in the work, she said, and it ain't being received. She ain't feeling it. She ain't feeling it. So here's my advocacy, because Lindsay ain't here yet. Here's my advocacy for him. Ma'am, have you ever had one before, and has it ever gotten you to the promised land? So it's all well and good. You want, not that you need, you want this vibrator, okay? You want this. Have you ever had one, and has you gotten to the promised land? Because you may end up with a Bob and still not gotten there, which is something different, and you will need an intimacy therapist. You're saying it might be in your mind. So again, you may want to explore with a therapist who focuses on intimacy. So at least you say he putting in the work. The brother is putting in the work, okay? He putting in the work, and she's just not getting there. Dude is not on his job. You don't finish until the job is done. You shouldn't have to go to the XXX store to compensate his shortcomings. Man, bye. Well, we don't know if it's just his shortcomings. We don't know. Maybe he said stay hydrated. Shout out to Little Black Book 91, but I don't think he meant this kind of hydrated. Now, After Trey Max comment, I'll say something else. Let me help you. Buy the massager from Brookstone. Video chat him and let him watch you use it live. I can almost assure you he will not complain. You're welcome. Well, we don't know. Will he want to use it live? He's still very young. He probably needs her to educate him. Yeah, he may be just, rabbits. He may be just rabbits. Okay? Okay? We may be just being rabbits. We don't know. They're both 21. So his putting in the work is, maybe huffing and puffing. Maybe that's putting in the work. See, I need more information. I need to know I need visuals as to what putting in the work, because my mind will go just about anywhere. But young lady, you don't know if that Bob is going to get you where you want to go. That's the one thing. And I always say on this channel, there are many routes to the promised land. You don't always need something external, even meaning with him. With him. There are other ways he could put in the work. There are other parts of his body he can use to put in the work. But certainly if you feel like you want that Bob, that battery operated boyfriend, then maybe try it out, as Trey Max said, without him and see if it even gets you there. Now, the flip side of that is if that gets you there and he cannot, he may start to resent Bob. He may resent Bob. She could be his first. I don't know. I don't know. They're both 21. Maybe he says, oh, I missed the age. Yeah, he's inexperienced, needs some coaching. And they need to coach each other. Is he finishing? Because she didn't mention if he's finishing. Okay? She doesn't finish very often, but she doesn't mention if he's finishing. Okay? Now, yes, he may need some coaching, and certainly you can certainly teach him how to please you, as he should teach you how to please him. And let me put this out there, because I know somebody will put it in the comments. Somebody will comment and say it. Young lady, for many a generation, women have been doing something, 2 words called faking it. Faking it. Now, I don't aspire to this, because guess what? You're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing him a disservice. He needs a progressive action plan. He needs to be taught how to please you, how to get there, but also you need to be taught as to what pleases you so you can tell him. This may be, as you said, you're saying is nothing he isn't doing. You're saying he's putting in the work, but you're not feeling it. So you may need an intimacy therapist. I think this goes beyond him. The way you have phrased the request for unsolicited advice, I think it goes beyond him. I think this is not totally, I shouldn't say totally. I think this is, as you saying, you have a concern about yourself. So the intimacy coach or the intimacy therapist will certainly help you understand that. You certainly can still go get a Bob and test it out to see if it actually does get you there. But again, if he's putting in the work and you're not getting there, I would say a Bob will help you understand your own body and how you can tell him how to better please you. This is her first partner. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know if this is her first partner, but she is saying he putting in the work. So how would she know he putting in the work if this is her first partner? But it's a good guess. This is her first partner, probably his second or third. She doesn't even know her own body is what it's sounding like. They both need instructions. Right. And just to let you know, young lady, Bobs don't come with instructions. Okay. You've got to know yourself and you've got to just test it out. The fun, a lot of times, is the journey. The fun, a lot of times, ain't at the promised land. It is the journey to the promised land. You may have a few detours. You may discover new levels. The fun is the journey to the promised land. And you may hit many different promised lands. But again, the fun is in the journey. So y'all let me know the advice you have for her in the comments below. Let me know or let her know what your unsolicited advice is. But this seems to be just a journey y'all can travel along together. Y'all in a long distance relationship. Trey says, hey, get Bob, your battery operated boyfriend, and use it while on a video chat with him. I suggest before you video chat with him, you figure out how to use Bob best for your satisfaction. And if Bob ain't working for you, you definitely, whether Bob working or not, I think you need to probably talk to an intimacy counselor. There's something there that, as you said, he putting in the work, but it just ain't hitting right. It just ain't hitting right. And so I would say, hey, you may need some help with this, but y'all are young. Y'all are young. At 21, I wasn't looking for no intimacy coach. Not at 21. We will be talking. There will be a performance evaluation. There will be a corrective action plan, and there will be many an opportunity for you to correct the shortcomings from previous actions. Yes, I said that exactly how I meant it. The woman's mental is too important when it comes to reaching a land of milk and honey, and peaches and cream, and whatever you wish to call it. We call it the promised land around here, but Trimac is correct. Her mind. Is he stimulating your mind, young lady? Because guess what? Bob ain't going to stimulate your mind. Bob just going to stimulate down yonder. So please, young lady, whatever's going on in your mind may also be blocking him from reaching you and the promised land. As to go to Africa, say they got plenty of time. Y'all 21, y'all got plenty of time to discover. And the journey of discovery is wonderful. So just take your time. Take your time. You can add Bob, you can add other toys, but y'all can just discover things together. And I'm hoping he's up to, you say he's usually open, so I'm hoping he is open to this as well. Bob can't do what a human body does. No, Bob can't do everything the human body does, but Bob, a battery operated boyfriend, can certainly help you in your journey of discovery. Some people like Bobs and some people don't. You know, batteries are expensive these days, but they are rechargeable kinds. So I heard. Okay, the rechargeable ones work. So I heard. Y'all, please give your unsolicited advice down below, and let's get to the next one because it gets what? Spicier and spicier. Number 5. We have one more after this. Number 5 goes, I found my husband, a 38-year-old female, found my husband's, a 43-year-old male's, hidden toy bag, adult toy bag. How do I approach talking to him about this? My husband, a 43-year-old male, and I, a 38-year-old female, have been married for 14 years. We've had our share of ups and downs. He's always struggled with honesty and lying by omission. It all came to a head when he had been unfaithful a few years ago with a one-night stand on a work trip with some random woman he met on Tinder. We agreed to couples counseling. We both had individual therapy, and he put a lot of work in to show me that this won't happen again if I stayed in the marriage. He openly shares his location with me, willingly shares his phone, etc. I have not felt like I had to check in years. This morning I was cleaning up our room and I saw a backpack under his side of the bed that I did not recognize. It looked empty, but when I bumped it and reached for some dirty socks past it, it was heavy. I was curious. I opened the bag to find a flashlight, which is not something I was aware of him having or ever expressed wanting. He was getting ready for work and I knew it wasn't the right time to address it. So I said nothing. After he left, I went back into the bag and found dilly does. No judgment if it's for him, but it's news to me. He's never been open with me if he had, any enjoyment of the back door. They both look relatively new. I have my own battery operated boyfriend and he knows about it and we've used it together and I've used it on my own. I thought we were in a good place to share things, to discuss our needs, our desires. I'm at a loss though. With our history and his previous lying, I'm struggling to believe that these things are just for him. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but it's difficult. I was thinking of asking directly if he is or is having an affair. And then inevitably get into why I'm concerned based on what I found. How would you approach this discussion? Mm-mm-mm. How would you approach this discussion? She was cleaning up. Hubby left a bag of dillies and doughs under the bed on his side. When she reached for socks under the bed, she found it was heavy. I'm more concerned with the flashlight. I'm more, what are we using a flashlight for? Okay, what are we using a flashlight for? I was like, oh, okay, it's a work bag when I heard flashlight, but then she found the flashlight with the dillies and the doughs. Are we using a flashlight when we're using dillies and doughs? I'm just, again, y'all, I'm not covering a certain very, popular case that's out there in the media, because there are many YouTubers and social media folks that are covering that. But we will talk about some topics like this one. Okay, we will talk about some topics that may be related or connect to that, just the topic of conversation. So he has a bag of dillies and doughs and got a flashlight in it. I'm like, do we need a flashlight to find where to use dilly and dough? What are we doing? I just don't understand. What are we doing? The truth about him is in or out of the bag. It's an annual thing. It's a backdoor thing. I don't know. Is that what the flashlight is for? I need to know the shape, and because all I'm thinking of is the old, metal flashlights that, people use also for protection, like a billy club. That's all I'm thinking. And that may be the wrong kind of flashlight. It may be one of those small flashlights that's kind of like the lipstick, bobs. But I'm just thinking, my mind is just, on a large scale. So you found the bag under the bed. You let him go to work as usual, because it is not the right time to discuss this. Now, was that the right thing to do? Was that the right thing to do? Let him go to work, just sit on it, stew on it until he came back home. Mimi says, what the hell is up with the flashlight? Girl, giving where Jeffrey Dahmer, so many things going through my head. All she found was flashlight and dilly doughs. I don't know what else apart from that she found. She just said it was heavy. The bag was heavy. The bag was heavy. She just said a flashlight. She didn't say many flashlights. She found a flashlight. She went, when he left for work, then she went into the bag. Oh, she went into the bag and then he left for work. She just decided to. Trey Max said, okay, he might want his back door played with. Here's what you do. Next time you're having coitus and you're blow popping, slide a digit in, see what happens. That's what Trey Mack is saying. Slide a digit in, see if he is stimulated. Maybe pull out that flashlight, see what's going on with the flashlight. And I'm thinking she may have, I think an autocorrect. Yeah, autocorrect did her wrong. Autocorrect did her wrong. Now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm stewing on it, instead of flash, yep, thank you to go to Africa. I was just about to say it. It's not a flashlight. Autocorrect did her wrong. That's what it is. If y'all over 18, go look that up. That's what he had in there. Mimi said, yes, see if he jumps. Follow Tremac's instructions and see if he jumped. Yes, you're over 18. Again, this is for grown folk up in here. Go and look up what to go to Africa just put on the screen. That is a light for back stimulation. Apparently it lights up too. So I heard. It lights up too. Now that I thought about it, I said, oh, it's the same, it's just the vowel is different. And so autocorrect gave her an A in the flash of it all instead of an E. If you look that up, I'm not looking it up here because YouTube will drop me. Immediately the feed will go down. So if you change the A in flash to an E and look up that light, you'll see what it is. Mimi looked it up. Mimi said, oh, heck no. Mimi said, oh, heck no. Now, she said the bag is heavy. These are usually not heavy. So I heard, okay? Everything I'm saying is so I heard. That is a story I'm sticking to. So I heard from back in the day, these are not heavy. So it has to be many lights or many dilly-dos for this bag to be heavy. Now, this is where we need accurate information. We need poundage. We need to know, did you need two hands to lift it because it was that heavy? That will give us a sense of how heavy was this? How heavy was this? Did you need one hand? Did you need to drag it because you couldn't actually lift it? We need visuals. We need visuals. And now that I know, I was like, oh, now I know that autocorrect messed you up. And I know what exactly you were looking for. What he had in that bag. The light. Oh, that's why I was like, flashlight. Why would he need a flashlight with dillies? Huh. Now I realize, I love word puzzles, and this was a word puzzle. And although Mimi said, heck no, there are people out here, and we are not judging here. If that is what you're into, perfectly fine. Sir, you need to talk to your wife. Because she could be spiraling thinking you are cheating, and this could just be for personal use. Like the young lady before wanted to get a bob for personal use. This may be for his personal use. Now, I'm not completely absolving him. He has cheated in the past, but she has said he has not done anything to let her think that he is currently cheating. Is this bag? I'll pay attention to the bag. I'll pay attention every day to see if the bag is still where it's been placed. Because the day he takes that bag out the house, the minute he takes that bag out the house, he going to somebody else's house to use it. But if the bag stays in the house and it stays in place, and you keep on looking, then it is for his personal use. It's for his personal use. Or you can have the conversation after he gets back from work. But I would more do a reconnaissance mission. I'd be paying attention. I'd be looking. Don't trust the location. Don't trust the location device, because if we learn anything from Love is Blind Charlotte, he gonna take off that watch or that smart part, leave it in the car, and end up someplace else where he can let you think that he's over here when he over there. So the location thing, I don't care for it. But again, I'm gonna monitor that bag. Oh, is the bag under there? Is the bag under there? Every day it's under there. Okay. But the minute that bag is gone, he went somewhere to use it. She should have suspected that he had other interests and desires. Could be. So that leads us to ask the question to go to Africa. When they had this counseling to get over this cheating, did they not discuss what was he looking for when he steps outside the marriage? What were his needs not being met within the marriage that he decided to step out? It doesn't sound like we talked about that in counseling. Or did we talk about it and she brushed it aside and he's like, well, I'm going to find a way to get what I need within the sanctity of my marriage? We don't know. That is my question for her. Did he talk about what he was not getting from the marriage? Did y'all talk about that in the counseling after the infidelity? because she said he picked up some rando on Tinder while on a business trip. That's also putting, health at risk. But hey, he had needs at the time. Was he not comfortable to tell you what his needs were? Did he say who the rando was? What did they do? Because it may have involved stuff that they brought that now he got to have in his own backpack. It sounds like he's doing the bending. Still cheating, though. Is he doing the bending? He's being bent? Is that what you're saying, Trey? He's being bent? He's not bending the person. Okay, I hear you. But the light, y'all, if y'all go look at that, so I heard. If he had discussed it, she probably wouldn't have been surprised when she found the toys. True, if they did discuss it, I believe that if they did discuss it in their counseling, she would not be so surprised at the toys or the fact that she found toys. But she says she has her own. And, I hate to say this. Yeah, it's given that, Mimi. Okay? It's given that. But I hate to say this. Some ladies wouldn't look or take too kindly if their man came to them and said, these are my needs. Am I wrong? Please put it in the comments below. If the man decided he needed his own Silicon Valley apparatus to stimulate his back door, how many women would actually be keen to give him what he wanted and still look at him the same way and still be able to respect him as her husband? How many? If ladies in the chat, in the comments, if a man came to you and said, hey, I would like you to use your bob on me, how would you feel? Would you be open to it? Or would you turn him away and look at him side eye, and then it has ruined the relationship? I'm just asking. How many are open to talking about it and open to providing that so he doesn't have to look outside the relationship for that? I'm just asking. I'm not, Lindsay is not here to be the advocate this week, today. What is going on? Where is Lindsay? So now here I am. I'm having to be the advocate. If this husband came to you, ma'am, and said, hey, I would like us to try this. This is what I really need. It's been years. I've been doing so well in this, but I have needs. Would you be open to doing this with me? How would she respond? It would be time, and let him go to find the person who would make him happy. It wouldn't be me. To go to Africa said, hey, it'll be time to let it go. Just another case of love. TKO. He's 43. She's 38. She said they've been married for 14 years. This is 14 years of marriage. She didn't say anything about kids, which I'm going to assume, maybe they have, but it ain't relevant for her in this discussion. But she wants to discuss this bag. I hope you are open when you're discussing this bag and the contents in it. I hope you're open to him being vulnerable enough to say, hey, this is what I need. Would you be open to taking this journey with me? Debbie said she would to go to Africa. It couldn't be her. Couldn't be her. I'm just asking the question because some gentlemen need to ask, these questions asked. Some people, even if they want to, yes, he has a bag. So yes, he's been probably doing it for quite a while. But some people, wish to explore, and they wish to explore with their partner, even if it's one time. So again, is he able to come to you and say, this is what I wish to explore without it being, thrown in his face? Open to let you go out the door. Mimi says she is open to letting you go out the door. Now, this could be a reason why he's got to have the bag under the bed out of her view. because he knows that 14 years of marriage will be done because she won't be open to it, but he has needs. I just want her to be open to the conversation. We say here in this chat a lot, have the conversation. Talk to your person. Talk to your partner. Be open to the conversation and be open to discussion. Now, this gentleman is going to come home from work and she's going to want to have the conversation. I'm hoping she is open to him saying, yes, just like she has her Bob. Yes, I use that. Yes, that is something that I need in my life. Would you be open to sharing that with me? And not explode on him. Have the conversation and say, even if you don't want to be a part of it, say, hey, I understand you need that as a part of your life, but I can't go there with you. But I understand, and I just need to know you're not doing that with anybody else. That is self-pleasure. If he receives pleasure from getting those feelings, he'll probably prefer to be with that person and not toys that will make him feel good. Could be, but again, he has the toys. Maybe he is trying to not go with another person or cheat with another person, and so have the toys so he stays still within his marriage. Mary says, we can talk, but I'll be done. Wish you well, hun. Oh, she giving me a little rhyming action. We can talk. You see, I'm a little different. We can talk. You see, that's how I'll bring the conversation. Hey, let's talk. I found this. How can we talk about it? How have you used these? Is it just on yourself? Has it been with another person? Okay. Is this what you need in your life? Okay. Talk to me about it. Let him talk. Let him talk. He will talk. If you are as that calm, he'll talk. And if he's cheated and gone with someone else and that's his bag of tricks, okay? Now, if y'all are from the crime scene sector that we are, there's a man that was, he's still in jail. He is the ex-husband now of Shirley Strawberry, who's on the Steve Harvey Morning Show. He had a black bag of toys. That's also why this story is resonating. So have a conversation. Have a conversation with him. See where the conversation leads, and then make a decision. If it's not for you, it's not for you. It's a boundary. Or can he still keep his bag as long as it is for self-love? Can he have it and you are not a part of it, but it is strictly for self-love? Are you okay with it? Ladies, we got to talk. We're okay with telling the guys. We're okay with the woman being open and telling the guys what we need. And the young lady we talked about earlier, what do you need in this relationship? We tell her to tell him, give him a corrective action plan. Now I'm turning it around. He's coming to you. Here's a corrective action plan. This is what I need from the relationship. Are you open to it? And yes, you have the right to say no, but I'm hoping that in the no, you can have the conversation, say, this ain't what I want. This ain't what I really want to have. And I hope I'm not restricting you from finding the love that you are looking for. Because again, this is 14 years of marriage. Even with the lady that was only together with the young lady who's 21, we're still telling her to have a conversation. I'm hoping they have a conversation. Bob and the fleshy lights are different. Bob's can make her feel like a man can naturally. A woman cannot naturally make him feel like the fleshy light. I understand. But again, men can't perform the way a Bob can. I don't know any man that naturally can vibe the way a Bob does. I'm just going to see Lindsay in the chat, but I'm being Lindsay today. I'm just saying. But I understand what you're saying. Naturally, a woman cannot provide him with what he wants, what he needs. But again, she has her own toy. She said he is aware of. So now he has his own toy in the toy bag that she is now being aware of. My thing is more the secrecy. We have to be able to talk. It's 14 years of marriage. Have to be able to talk. Have to be able to explore. So, y'all, what is your unsolicited advice? Okay. Mine is have a conversation and be open to it. Be open with him. and be gentle like that. Let him be able to open up and tell you exactly what he needs in the relationship, just like we ask the ladies to do. Just like we ask the ladies to do. So let's get to the last one. Excuse me, I had to sneeze for a second. Ooh. So the last one, the spiciest of them all. Why can't my boyfriend, a 28-year-old male, last longer than 3 minutes in the boudoir? I'm a 25-year-old female. So we've been together for 3 years. In the beginning, just like most relationships, we've been having really good intimacy time all the time. But of course, that slows down a bit as time goes on. Well, I didn't think our intimate life would be so this. Now I think we have intimacy about once every 2 weeks, give or take, usually because I already know what to expect or what's going to happen. Okay? She gives the technical blow by blow. Okay? She says for a minute or two. Okay? And, 30 to 45 seconds before he finishes, he says, sorry. Sorry. It was too good. I don't feel any different than when we first started dating, I don't think. Pretty sure my techniques have simplified too over time. I really don't have to do much. Mind you, he smokes the devil's lettuce. I know it decreases drive, but I guess, should I expect an adverse reaction? What? Not really sure what I should do. Mm, 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 mm. This is the last one. She says, he's a 3-minute wonder. 3-minute wonder. Okay? 3-minute wonder. What should she do? She's asking, what should she do? Are we going to do a corrective action plan? Are we going to talk to him about it? She apparently talks to him about it right then and there. And he says, oh, well, sorry. Sorry. She needs to give him an intensive class of 4 and play. She does. She could. She could give him an intensive class. But here's my thing. What she's saying is that she's providing the 4, but he isn't playing. He is not reciprocating. That's what she writes there. Yeah. It doesn't seem like he's reciprocating. She likes lollipops, and that's what she's doing. It doesn't seem like he's doing that either. Doesn't seem like he is, diving into the bushes. Doesn't seem like it. But again, she gets him ready, and all she gets is 3 minutes tops. She should make him satisfy her first. I mean, turnabout is fair play. Turnabout is fair play. He is 28. She is 25. They've been together for 3 years. We've been doing this for 3 years. We've been going through this for 3 years. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. And you said, here's what really tickled me, and I almost interrupted the reading, is we're intimate once every 2 weeks, give or take, usually because I already know what to expect and what's going to happen. It seems like the brother ain't creative. It seems like it's routine. That's what it seems. That's what it's sounding like. It's routine. Is it routine? It sounded like we're going through the motions. And that's probably why it's once every 2 weeks, because if I know what to expect, that's what she said. She knows what to expect. She knows what's going to happen. It's blah. Or maybe he, the song Don't Sweat the Technique. Maybe he just got his own technique, and this is what happens. This is what is good to go, and why change it? The joy is in the journey. The joy is in the journey. And it seems like y'all are taking the same path each and every time. You need to switch it up. As To Go to Africa said, let him start off the journey. Let him lead in this journey. It seems like you are constantly leading in this journey, or you are providing comfort first. Switch it up. Let him provide comfort first and see where it goes from there. And if the journey is the same route, now you need to have a conversation. You need to have a plan. Hey, we need to try something else. Are you open? And then you still have to be open to him saying, no, I don't want to try nothing else. Or, yeah, how about we try this? And don't be scandalized too much. Just be open to the conversation. But 3 minutes for 3 years? I don't know. Girl, you have a stronger constitution than I do. I couldn't stay for 3 years. I couldn't stay for 3 years, and it's 3 minutes. Not at all. Not at all. She should make it clear that without four and the play, it's not going to be his way. Absolutely no way. Sorry to this woman. 3 minutes for 3 years, magic number, huh? He's not working on fixing the problem. I'll say bye. Hey, I'll say bye. It's been 3 years. I'm surprised you've lasted this long. But what I will say is, you better have a conversation and better be ready to walk away. You didn't say if y'all live together. You didn't say if y'all have kids together. You didn't say all these other things. But we can't be routine. We can't be just vanilla. Remember, Love is Blind? I believe it was No, Married at First Sight, Charlotte. There's a wife there that said all they do is have vanilla intimacy. Young lady, you got to tell him you don't like vanilla that much, okay? That you need to spice it up a bit. But 3 years, 3 minutes, and it's routine? Whoo, child. You sounded like that other girl that says she needs a bob. You sounded like the earlier conversation where she said she needs a bob. Seems like the bob battery is going to last longer, but I mean, the ladies in the chat have said 3 minutes. No bueno, no bueno. I'm not sure if the men in the chat wish to chime in. Please let us know in the comments. I think 3 minutes. 3 minutes? Yeah, I think you're suffering. I think, ooh, that is suffrage. To me, that is suffrage. Suffrage. He couldn't be that serious about her if he hasn't tried to improve. Well, does he know he needs improvement? She's telling us. Has she told him he needs improvement? That's my other question. Have we had this conversation with him? But she did say, she did try to tell him. She did say, she does talk to him after he finishes. And he does say sorry. But is it really a sorry? Is it really a sorry? Or is he just saying sorry because he has to? Trey Max says she waited 3 years to talk about this. Why? Just why? He must be a good man, Savannah. Trey, he must be a good man otherwise, but I wouldn't wait 3 years. Even if he's a wonderful man, whatever, you should know this is a routine by the first 3 times. The first 3 times, you should know this is a routine. And then 6 months in, you should know it's a routine. Try and flip it and rub it down. Come on, try something else. To Go to Africa, she must have a closet filled with bobs. She could have a closet filled with bobs, or it's just in a bag under the bed and he ain't looking. He ain't like the wife from the previous one. He ain't looking. She's 25, he's 28. I can't give him the same leverage I gave the 21-year-old young man. He's 28. How has he survived so long and it's only 3 minutes? Or has he got the experience of the 21-year-old where he doesn't have a whole lot? That's why he's able to blow his top so quickly. She says it's only for a minute or two. She says a minute or two. And the second, they get horizontal, they have 30 to 45 seconds before he finishes. So technically, out of the 3 minutes, she only gets 30 to 45 seconds. So she put in the work. for the first 2 minutes and a half. Girl, I'm thinking that may be it. Even though he is 28, even though he's 28, he may not have the experience that a man close to 30 would usually have. I think that's why, he finishes so quickly. So that may be the conversation to talk about his dating history, his history in that regard. He may not have that history. And maybe over time he can certainly work on building his, I hate to say tolerance, but building his longevity. That is the better word. Building his longevity, his sustaining power. How about that? That's a better way to say it. I'm thinking he may not have much experience if this is how he's behaving, like he can't control, withhold, or he can't control himself. That's all I can say. I'm not sure if any of the gentlemen in the group can say anything more, but to go to Africa says stamina. Yes, build his stamina. Because she's working the first 2.5 minutes, and as she says, as they get it on, get it in, he lasts only 30 to 45 seconds. I'm thinking he doesn't have staying power. He doesn't have stamina. But yes, Mimi, 3 minutes is torture. 3 minutes, and you've been working for the first 2.5 minutes. Yeah, that's torture. Mimi says something medical must be happening. It could be, but if he doesn't have that much experience, it could just be he doesn't know how to control or control, withhold. I'm thinking it may be inexperience. It could be something medical if he's had experience and he can't, or somebody may come in here and say, hey, stop with the doom and gloom. Maybe she's that good. Somebody could be coming up in here and say, girl, you got that fire. That's why he can't last but so long. Somebody could be coming in here. Where is my advocate, Lindsay? Could be advocating for her and say, girl, he only lasting 3 minutes because you are the stuff. Anybody believe that? Does anybody co-sign on that? Hey, girl, you may be the issue. You might be too good to him. You might be too good for him. And that's why it's only 3 minutes. Y'all, before I go further off the deep end, please put in the comments below, what is your unsolicited advice? I say have the conversation, have the talk with him, see if it's a matter of inexperience, and see where y'all could go from here. Because again, half the fun is the journey to the destination. To go to Africa said H to the no. I'm just trying to be nice. I'm just trying to give an even keel here. The brother could, can't help himself. She's awesome. She's amazing. And be prepared for him to say that. So, sorry to go to Africa. She's like, H to no. No. That is not it. I'm just trying to be nice. I'm just trying to give her her props and give him a line he could use in the conversation. But please leave your unsolicited advice below in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. I do have an interview coming up on Wednesday with Cam from Ready to Love Philadelphia. My name, Elsa932, is on Cash App right now. It is not, you're not obliged to do that. Few someones have asked me to provide that. You will see it with my LCID932 logo, as you see here on the screen. It is there if you wish to contribute to the channel until we, of course, get monetized around here. But I appreciate you all being here, and I love these conversations. Tremax says, start using a conundrum and desensitize him, or use a ring for the lollipop, okay? I'm just saying lollipop so I don't get demonetized or I don't get, taken down, okay? So y'all, thank you so much for being here. We are going to be talking about Somebody's Son on Tuesday. I do that with actually Aubrey here on the channel. And Wednesday, we will be talking with Cam from Ready to Love Philadelphia. That is fun. So please make sure you catch up on those. I will have a post on the channel, so you certainly can submit your questions for Cam. And please know that he cannot talk about anything further than the episodes we have seen. Trey, I'm not going to put that one up because y'all could read it in the fine print. Put a magnifying glass up for that comment. Yes, to go to Africa is saying to everybody, have a great Sunday. I'll see y'all. Have a great Sunday. Have a great week. And what I always say is, I will see you on